All right. So I think for the folks who don't know about me, so my name is Akash Putti, and I've been into big data, data engineering, and cloud for the last 10 plus years, right? So I have worked with most of the top MNCs, both service-based and product-based as well, right? And also, I have been working into different domains like telecom, banking, right? Healthcare, and others. So what all I have tools, technologies, and what all I have learned in the last 10 plus years, right? So I'll be sharing it with you guys today and also in the upcoming days if you join our data engineering training and so on. Okay. I think that's a brief introduction about me. That's more than enough, at least for now, for us to get started. Before we proceed ahead, I would want you guys to introduce yourself. Okay. So when I say introduce yourself, I just want to understand like your name, your profession, if you are working professional, right? Your total years of experience. If you are a fresher, you can mention fresher, right? So that it will be easy for me to, proceed ahead with the workshop accordingly so that everyone will enjoy and will not get bored. I'll just give you a sample. You can use the chat, right? Name. So for example, my name is Akash Putti, right? Total years of experience. I am mentioning as 10 plus because I have 10 plus years. You can, if you are a fresher, you can mention fresher, right? Domain and technology, that's fine. If you don't mention the domain, you can mention the technology. For example, mine is data engineering, right? So I need this. I'll just give you 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes of time. Okay. So I want you guys to go ahead and give your introduction. Yes, I'm waiting.
Hello,
Yes, who is this?
I'm Vishwanath.
Yes, hi
Hi,
Vishwanath.
Akash. Hi. So I'm currently working as a system admin at JDW.
Okay.
I have experience of 1.2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm currently exploring new technologies and stuff. So I have joined this workshop today.
Yeah, well, very good. I just want you guys to use the chat box, right? So that it will be easy for me to read it through, right? Probably sometimes the voice quality and the surroundings might not be favorable. Well, I think if you guys could use the chat box, it would be helpful. Okay. So I think now Vishwanath spoke. Fresher in this field. Okay. I don't want about this field. Okay. I want what you are working into currently. I understand most of the people who come here, they either come to upskill or they come here to switch their domain, or if they are a fresher, they'll come so that, they can understand, they can further do some internships related to this and so on. Right. So I see 10 plus people here. I just want you guys to use the chat box, right? I have given 5 minutes. I hope the question is understandable. If not, then please do let me know. Okay, I see Vishwambar. Fresher in this field, I understand, but I want what is your current experience? Fresher in this field, I understand that. Vishwanath, 1.2 year, okay. And 1.8 experience in biopharmaceutical, okay. Samir pursuing BCA, okay. Got it. Trader, teacher. Okay, I see people from completely different domains as well today. What about others? I see a lot of people. I see Skandraj, Kushi, Akshata, Navya, Himalay, 8 sem person engineering. Which college? Okay, for the people who are doing engineering, I think we have a workshop. I mean, we have. recently partnered with VTU, right? So now we are official partners with VTU. So you can apply internship in cloud frame technologies through VTU itself. Okay, you are from KLE. Is it Belagavi or which? Hubli. Got it. Well, I just wanted to hear from most of the people, but I think today I do not see that energy in the students, right? So whenever I take sessions, no matter it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I want full energy and I want full of interaction from both the sides. Okay. If I'm just alone talking and if you guys are not interacting, you guys also will be bored and even I'll be bored. Skandraj, final year engineering, PESIT. Okay. Very good. So I see students as well here. So before we get started and proceed ahead with the actual workshop, I see a lot of freshers here. Okay, and I think definitely you guys are also going to enjoy this session, right? Because I just take an example or take examples which are favorable as per the students who are attending the session. And then let me just share my entire screen. For the students, I think you guys might be having internships, right? So just I would like to spend 2 minutes and then I'll proceed ahead with the actual workshop. Okay. Oh, okay. I hope my screen is visible. So what is this here? Hmm. So for the, I see couple of freshers. So you can just use this link, right, to go to VTU website where our company is registered, correct? And you can see we have 4 months of internship at Cloudframe Technologies, but you cannot apply directly through our application, but you will have to apply it through VTU portal itself, right? And you can go through this. You can go through all the details, right? So I'll just share the link so that it will be helpful to the freshers. And meanwhile, let's proceed ahead with the workshop. Okay. Kushi graduated BCSC from KLS GIT Badagami with 10 months of experience in data science at a startup looking to upskill. Very good. Very good. Nice. So we have a lot of students here. I mean, for us, they are students, but they are working professionals, right? So also we have students from Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, and all other who are already working as data engineer, but they have come here so that they can upskill themselves because I think whoever is already into data engineering domain, you guys might be aware that you do not get to work on each and everything, right? So yes, I understand that. Well, you guys have come at the right place. I have sent the link for the freshers. You can just check. You can apply for the internships, right? I think it is going to start in the month of January, and also you can share it with your friends and maybe your college. I think officially most of the colleges might have got circular about the cloud frame technologies, right? But if you haven't got it, you can I have already shared the link. You can send it with your friends and family, whoever are interested to do internship in data engineering. Okay. I think even outsiders can apply, but as of now, we are focusing only the students of the final year for the internship, not outsiders. Outsiders because they can directly apply through our app as well, right? So why do you guys even want to come through VTU? For VTU, students who are still pursuing engineering, like I saw one guy from PESIT, I saw some from KLE, etc. Right? You can apply. Okay. So let's proceed ahead. And also, there is referral program which is going on. I think you can connect with the team, right? For per student referral, I think you might get 800 or 1000 rupees. I'm not sure. You can talk to the team. Okay. And here is the link. I hope it's accessible. I think Skandraj and Himalay, can you just check if the link is accessible? If yes, well and good. Let's proceed ahead with the main agenda today. Okay, very good. Uh, let me share. Let me stop sharing. Let me share the. Okay. So this is the VTU website, right? You can apply from there. Anyways, let me open the presentation for today and we can proceed ahead. Where is the data engineering presentation? Hmm. Uh, yeah, I think I got it. No, not this. Where did I lose it? Here it is. Okay, let's proceed it. Let me share the presentation screen. All right, I hope it's visible. Uh, Let me see if I'll be able to use my pen tab properly here. Yeah, I think there is a lag here, so let me go back and I think you should be able to see this screen. Here, I think we'll not get any lag. We can use this. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's jump on to the main agenda. I think our team might have already spoken to you about this. Okay. So today we are going to, understand about big data, data engineering. We are going to look at the aspects of it. We are going to look at uh, the the market trends, what's going on, right? Let's look at some of technical things. Let's look at some of semi-technical things, right? There is a lot to learn here. So whatever is possible in the next 1 to 1.5 hours, so I'll try to cover it. Okay. So before we get started, again, I would like to ask what comes to your mind when I say the word big data. Okay. Any answers could be fine. Nobody is going to judge you. Correct. So what comes to your mind when I say the word big data? I don't want anyone to unmute yourself. I want you guys to use the chat box. Okay. I'm looking at the chat, waiting for your answers. Yes, guys. Dealing with, Vishwanath says, dealing with huge amount of data. Very good. What about others? It could be any random answer. I see nobody is going to judge you. Participation is important at the end of the day. Unorganized, large collection of data, how we will be handling it. Aishwarya, very good. Not bad. What about others? One more answer. Okay, I think pretty good answers. I got 2 to 3 answers. Himalaya says larger data set, maybe. Yes. And then, all right. Let's try to break it down in a simpler manner. Okay. Big is something which is very huge, correct? And data could be your structured data. I think, let me push this back. Yeah. It could be your structured data, correct? Or it could be your unstructured data, correct? Let's not try to deep dive here, but big data is which is very huge, and big is something which is very huge, and data could be or any form of data. Okay. And the databases which we use to store this data, correct, are called as big data databases. All right. So one best example of big data database is Hadoop. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. Let's try to understand, let's try to explore the 3 V's, right? That is the volume, the variety, and velocity, so that we'll understand it in a better manner. Okay. Volume is nothing but the amount of data that is getting generated, right? Variety is nothing but your different varieties of data, that is structured, unstructured, semi-structured, and so on. Velocity is nothing but the speed at which the data is getting generated, right? Some people use 5 V's to explain this. Some of them use 7 V's to explain this. But I think 3 V's are more than enough, right? The amount of data, the variety of data, and the speed of data at which the data is getting generated, right? Let's look at an example. Okay. So around 10 to 12 years back, I think, yeah, not even 10, I think around 8 to 10 years back when Geo came into picture. Okay. Let's consider only India, right? What happened before Geo era? Of course, we had Wi-Fi connections at home. We had BSNL dial-up connection, Airtel connection and all, right? But the very best of best internet, we used to get 1 Mbps, correct? 1 Mbps was like, which is nothing but 100 KB per second, correct? And now even if you use Geo Fiber, I think you have 30 Mbps, correct? 30 Mbps as in 3 MB per second, which is very good, which is decent enough. Also, when it came to mobile internet, we hardly used to have 1 GB of data, correct? We used to have 1 GB of data for the entire month, not hour or day, right? And maximum we used to get is 5 GB of data for the entire month. That too, it was very expensive. It was not affordable, correct? But after Jio era, what happened? And also at the same time, smartphones, they were into huge sale, right? I still remember my first smartphone. Of course, I had 3 to 4 phones before that, but my first smartphone was LG Optimus one. I think it was on Android 2 or Android 3, right? Then people were not even aware of smartphones, correct? Explosion of smartphones. What do I mean by that? Everyone started buying smartphones at the same time. Jio also was introduced in the market where they give free internet to everyone. Correct? What happens here? Let's say we had 10 users, just a random number so that you can understand, right? Then this user became 100. It became 1,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, crore, 10 crore, 100 crore, and so on. So what happened here? The number of users increased exponentially, right? The number of users increased exponentially. What happens if number of users are increasing exponentially? The data that is getting generated also increases exponentially, right? The data that is getting generated, that also increases exponentially. Correct? Let's say on an average, if 10 people are producing 100 MB of data, correct? That is 10 MB each. So imagine 100 people, imagine 1,000 people, imagine 10,000 people, imagine 1 lakh people, and so on, right? This is nothing but this can be considered as big data. It could be in any format. Let's say you're using a mobile phone, right? You have hundreds of apps. Each of your app will generate data. Some of it will get stored in your, let's say, in the OBB folder of your Android, correct? Some of the data will be sent to the servers through APIs, right? Where to the applications, right? For example, let's say you're using Gmail, right? You send the data via email, or probably let's say you have Google account, right? Google gives you 15 GB of data per day, sorry, per month per user, correct? So imagine Google itself has probably billions of users, right? It has given 15 GB of free storage for everyone, right? So imagine if it has given 15 GB of data per user, then let's say 100 crore people, it's giving for 100 crore people into multiplied by 15 GB, right? So that all can be considered as the huge data, big data, right? Which is enormous amount of data. And to store that data, we require these big data databases, correct? Earlier, we used to store all of it in Hadoop, right? That was the one of the best big data databases, right? When I started my career in 2014-15, around that, we were using Hadoop. Now also Hadoop is there. For example, in most of the banking projects, we still use Hadoop, correct? And also if we go to retail or healthcare and all, most of them are moving to cloud. Of course, banking projects are also moving to cloud, but they are the last people to move to the cloud because of the trust issues, right? So we saw the volume, we saw the variety of data, we saw the velocity of data, how it increased, right? Now let's look at how important it is, right? Or the importance That is a crucial role of big data and data engineering in today's world. Let me take some examples. Let me go to the chat. Let me pick one person randomly. Let me pick Akshata. Okay. Let me pick Akshata. Now let's say Akshata wants to buy a mobile phone. Okay. Let's say Akshata completes her 4 months training in CloudFrame, right? And she ends up in a better job and she sees that, okay, boss, everyone is using an iPhone now. Anyways, even I have switched. Okay, even I have got a better salary. Even let me buy an iPhone. So what Akshata will do, basically, she will go to Amazon, correct? She will go to either Google, Flipkart, or Amazon. If the same Akshata had to buy an iPhone probably 10 years back, whichever the version was, iPhone 3, 4, 5, correct, she would have gone to a local mobile store, right? In the same way, if she had to buy a grocery, she would have gone to a local grocery store. But now we have Zepto, Zomato, Swiggy, right? If she, or any of you, right? If Skandraj wanted to have some dinner, probably Zomato was not there. He used to go to a, let's say, a restaurant, right? So if you notice closely, everything what was there offline, especially post COVID, everything came online, right? That was also one of the main reason for explosion of the data. That is why big data developers and data engineers are into boom nowadays, correct? But let's come back to Akshata's example. So what she does, she will go to Amazon, she will search for an iPhone, correct? And let's say she will get the results. Then she will look for the camera, the latest version, whether she wants two cameras or one camera or three cameras, right? Whether she wants to buy a Air Pro or Pro Max, whatever it is. And then finally she plans and probably she will add one phone into the cart. At the same time, let's say this is your web page. In the top, she sees something called as recommendation, right? Sponsored ads. And in the below something, she will see something like Akshata might also be interested to buy these items, correct? Or probably people who came to buy iPhone also bought these items, right? It could be anything. It could be a mobile case or it could be a charger. It could be a power bank, right? Recommendations. Now, how does this work? When as soon as Akshata went and searched for a mobile phone or an iPhone, whatever it is, right? Her data was captured, correct? Her data was captured in the form of logs. Now imagine it's just one Akshata, right? But we have millions and billions of Akshatas who are browsing Akshatas or Akash, whoever it is, right? Who are browsing the internet every day. All their data may be in the form of logs, it's getting stored. That can be considered as a big data. Now the question is how companies use big data for decision making. Now what happened? Her data was captured, correct? And immediately what happened is she started getting recommendations, right? That she can also try Samsung S25 Ultra or probably she can try for, what is it? OnePlus Fold, whatever new phones have come in the market. Now, how did this happen? There is no employee who is sitting in the backend, correct? There is no employee who is sitting in the backend and doing it manually, right? Entire automation is built, entire Azure data factory pipelines or informatic or ETL pipelines, whatever we call them, right? Pipelines are built, automation is done, right? The data is getting captured and then, it is sent to the server and then from it is being picked and then dashboards and reports are being created and then probably she is getting recommended, right? But all this is happening in a span of quick time, right? It's not like you log in and you are waiting for the next day, right? We'll come to it, how it works, what happens in the backend, we'll come to it. But as of now, I hope you understood. Now let's say if Akshata has come here to buy an iPhone, if okay, Akshata's case, that is fine. Let's say we take Skandraj, right? If Skandraj, or let me call him Scandy, it will be easy, right? If Scandy wants to buy a iPhone here, he has come here. What if in the recommendation, Skandraj gets that along with this iPhone, you can buy this lipstick, correct? Or along with this uh, iPhone, you can buy this nail paint. Probably for Akshata, it could have been somewhere related, right? But for Scandy, it is not at all related, right? What would a Scandy do with a lipstick or a nail paint, correct? That is where the data engineers and big data developers come into picture, and that is where how important it is to transform the data, cleanse the data, correct, and put it into a proper channel and give a meaning to it, right? If you are not doing any of these tasks properly, then probably the recommendations will not go right? And then companies cannot take the right decision, right? If they are doing wrong recommendations, then they are wasting their money. For example, let's say we have a company, we are running ads, correct? If that ad is being shown to the right person, then it makes sense, right? For example, let's say we have, you might have heard about the boat company, right? They sell headphones, right? Probably if they are targeting location wise, right? Let's say they know that in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, right? People do not think much. They can easily spend and they can buy 4 to 5 thousand rupees headphones, right? Let's say in the tier two or tier three cities, if they recommend it, right? Let's say in a wrong way also, if they recommend it, does it make sense? No, because probably a headphone with 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 rupees in the tier two or tier three cities, even by mistake also, if they run their ads, it's not going to work out. Probably if they run it in Mumbai, Bangalore, or whatever top cities or the metro cities, then it would make sense, right? I hope you got this example as well. Now you see how businesses use big data and data engineering for decision making, right? I give one example of Boat, I give one example of Amazon, right? I give one example of the iPhone, or you want to buy something, the recommendation, etc. Now let's look at evolution from traditional ETL to modern cloud-based data pipelines. Initially, we used to have SQL databases or MySQL databases or Oracle, whatever it is, right? They are all traditional databases. We call them traditional databases, or yeah, we call them traditional databases now. But now, can I use this for big data? No, it's not possible, right? All tools, all technologies, all databases have certain limitations. For example, let's say in SQL or in a SQL database, or using SQL on the SQL server, let's say you can create a table with 100 columns. Probably in big data, you can use Hive and you can create 1,000 columns, right? You can put more data. Here, let's say if we have, I'm just taking a random number, okay? Let's say here, if we have option to store 1 lakh records as in one record is considered as one row, right? Here probably we can store 10 lakhs, right? Probably to process, let's say 1 lakh record, it's taking 1 hour. Probably it will take 10 minutes here, right? So that is how technology has evolved from SQL, let's say SQL databases and SQL, etc. We came to Hadoop, right, which is a big data database. And in Hadoop, what happened? We have this is basically a database, right? You have Hadoop architecture one, architecture two. You can store data, you can access data, right? You can move the data from a local system to Hadoop and Hadoop to local system and many things. And we can use Hive. Hive is a data warehousing technique where I can use Hive to, it's a warehouse basically, right? We can create tables, internal tables, external tables. We can access the data which is on top of Hadoop, right? We can give a meaningful insights to it. We can do whatever we want using Hive. Now, what is the difference here? Here we use HQL, Hive Query Language, right? Here we use for SQL Server or Oracle, etc. We use SQL, MySQL, etc., etc. Correct? But the difference here is probably the performance optimizations we get using Hadoop, right? Or the edge, what we get is probably, let's say I just give one example of probably 1 lakh records and 10 lakh records here, right? So there is a difference here. And from Hadoop Hive, technology moved on to Spark, right? We write Spark code using PySpark or Spark Scala or R language as well, right? Again, this is kind of your framework, right? You can create ETL pipelines, you can, create Spark code, you can create data frames, you can create RDDs, you can create transformations to filter data, transform data, and do a lot of things. And then we got Databricks. Databricks is again nothing but it's a framework built on top of Spark. It means that you can create workflows, you can create delta tables, you can create DLT tables, you can create data vault. There's a lot of thing in it, right? And then we have three major cloud aggregators, that is Google's GCP, and then we have Amazon's AWS, and then we have Microsoft's Azure. Okay. You see how technology has evolved in the last 10 years, right? It has evolved. So now what is the moral here? We have two things. One is technology is evolving rapidly because of the need in the market, need of the hour, right? Because companies need, that is why companies are developing. What does that mean? Companies need good tools, good technologies, good databases. So companies are developing and evolving, right? So for example, CloudFrame technologies. So why we started with CloudFrame technologies? Because we are building cloud solutions. What do I mean by cloud solutions? We are building cloud tools, right? We are building SaaS tools, right? Software as a service, right? We are building tools here, and we are doing a lot of things with respect to big data, data engineering, and cloud, so that other companies can use and we can give a service to that. Correct. So similarly, we have very big aggregators like Google, uh, Google's GCP, right? They have their own world, right? If you want to migrate your data, if you want to transform your data, if you want to create dashboards, they have their entire world. You can do everything, not only with respect to the data engineering, but also with respect to networking and a lot other things. They have built an entire ecosystem. Similarly, AWS has also done that, and also now Microsoft has also done that. Correct. So what does that mean? We have a lot of competition and also a lot of opportunities here, right? When companies like Google, Amazon, or Microsoft are involved here, so imagine the job opportunities, correct? So two things. One is evolving technology due to company needs. And here, even if you are a fresher or an experienced candidate, you need to evolve. You need to stick to the latest technologies. That is when, if you are a fresher, you can easily get an internship. If you are a fresher, you can easily get a job in a startup or anywhere, right? And if you are an experienced candidate, if you are having 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, or 10 years of experience, you can easily switch your job. Okay. Next is, let's understand the role of, okay, I think I have got the wrong presentation. So this is, okay. I think I need to go in the front and come back. Okay, let's come to this slide. I think I have selected a wrong presentation, but then yeah, presentation is correct. Only thing is that it's just not as per the flow what I had planned. Anyways, okay, how is the session going on? If you are finding it good, you can just let me know in the chat box so that even I'll get to know that you guys are enjoying the session. If it is going good, you can just say good in the chat. Okay, Sanjeev says great, Aishwarya says good, Vishwanath says good, very good. Okay, and also meanwhile, yeah, even Scandy is saying good. I think Suraj has sent a Google form. Okay. So you can fill it. I think freshers who want to take up the, what is that? Training in data engineering and big data, even you guys can fill it. Okay. And of course, experienced candidates as well, because I think team might have already told you that we'll have workshop only discount, right? So you'll get discount of 5 to 10,000 rupees. Okay. So you can fill the form. Suraj, as anyways, we have your information, but this will give us a clarity that who is more interested, right? So first preference would be given to the folks who will fill the form. So I'll just give you 1 minute. You can fill the form and then we can continue. All right, let's proceed ahead. Mm, Okay, let me go back to the presentation. Yeah, so we were looking at Akshata's example earlier. So how the data, or let's say I just gave some example, right? So Akshata will get immediate responses or immediate recommendation. That is probably because of batch processing, right? There are different types of processing of data, one is batch, and the other one is stream processing, right? So for stream processing, if the data is stream processed, probably she will get the immediate recommendations. Batch processing is something where the data is, processed at certain interval, right? At a certain interval with a schedule. It could be processed in one day, or let's say it could be a batch could be of 1 week, or batch could be of one fortnight, that is 15 days, or batch could be of 1 month, or God, there's some disturbance here, and there could be a batch of a quarter, that is 3 months, right? Or bi-yearly, that is 6 months, or 12, or history data, correct? So it all depends on, that is how we define the batch. Okay. Stream is something immediately. For example, let's go back to Akshata's example. Immediately she started getting recommendations. That is probably due to stream processing, or yeah, due to stream processing. And let's say she'll start getting the recommendations after 2 days or 3 days. Probably she's watching a YouTube video. She will start getting the ad, right? Probably she'll start getting ads on iPhone or Samsung, whatever it is, right? Then that could be considered as batch data. Probably her data was stored as a batch of one day, and next day, whenever it time came, it was processed. For example, I was working in a retail project called as Unilever. Okay. I think most of you guys might have heard Unilever, right? Ponds and Lord. I think Unilever has more than 100 products, FMCG products, correct? So I still remember I worked there for around 15 months. So we used to have Azure Data Factory pipelines, which we used to run daily in the 4 a.m. Of course, I didn't get up at 4 a.m. We had our juniors who used to get up and monitor the pipelines were all scheduled, but they used to monitor, right? Because at 8 a.m. they used to go a report. When I say report, we had to send an email with respect to the report, whatever has been processed and so on. And this was directly related to, I think, around 10 to 15 dashboards, right? And these dashboards were used by the stakeholders, correct? Every day they used to look at the dashboards, reports, etc. Right? So so what does it mean? What does it come under? It comes under batch processing, correct? So what batch we had? We had batch of one day. Whatever new data came in every 24 hours, every 4 a.m., all the jobs used to run, right? So that they can fetch the latest data. Okay, now let's look at this. Batch processing processes large volumes of data at once, right? It could be one day, 1 week, 15 days, or it could be history data. It could be history data of even 100 TB, correct? And then it runs at a schedule, hourly, daily, weekly, it all depends. We discussed about it. Then we have suitable for reports, aggregations, ETL jobs, right? I told you, right? I told you about Azure Data Factory. That's nothing but a cloud-based ETL. And then higher latency efficient for big loads. Higher latency as in we are not doing it immediately, right? It could be latency. There is a gap of 1 day or 2 days or 1 week, etc. What are the use cases? Periodic. It happens periodically. It doesn't happen all of a sudden. Large scale. Whenever we have large amount of data to be processed, we do not usually do it immediately. We process it as a batch processing. Everything has its own benefits and so on, right? Best example is processing of historical data, right? I already gave an example here. For example, let's say I have 100 TB of data, correct? Of course, it's all batch, right? Probably I have 10 to 15 years of data in it, and I want to migrate it to the cloud, correct? So here we are using batch processing. We are not using stream processing because the bulk of data is already stored somewhere, right? And we are picking it and we are putting it here. Then stream processing processes the data continuously in real time, right? The data is coming, it's processing, it's coming, it's processing, right? Probably 5 records at a time, right? Or 10 records, sorry, not 5 records, 10,000 records at a time, correct? It all depends on how we write the script and how we schedule. For example, in my latest project, we are using Databricks, right? Databricks has the own feature called as autoloader. So we use autoloader function or autoloader feature to have the streaming data or the incremental data, right? So we can use different tools. We can write the custom code. We can do anything to get the data. For example, we have Spark streaming, we have Kafka, a lot other things which are related to the processing of streaming data. It handles events instantly as they arrive. It means that let's say we set a record of 10,000, probably 10,000 records will come in a minute, right? 10,000 records come, they process, they get stored, and they go forward. Another 10,000 records come, they get processed, they get stored in a database, and further they are sent to the respective teams. It's suitable for fraud detection, live dashboard alerts, etc. Example, banking, right? So if there is some fraud happening, for example, let's say ATM, correct? Best example. Now, I haven't given this example earlier. Suddenly it came to my mind. ATM. Let's say a thief has stolen your card, correct? He tries one wrong attempt, second wrong attempt, third wrong attempt. Immediately, his data will be sent to a database, correct? And that card will be blocked, correct? You cannot do the fourth try there, right? So suitable for fraud detection. I just give one example. There are a lot of such examples. Live dashboards. Let's say you're watching India match or IPL nowadays in the Geo Hotstar app, etc. Right? So you can see the match live scores immediately, right? You can see the responses immediately. For example, hardly there will be latency of 1 minute, correct? Probably in the live, if the match is happening, here you can get the score, right? Let's say we have a RCB versus CSK match happening in Bangalore, correct? Let's say Dhoni hits a six or Kohli hits a six. Maximum latency will be 1 minute, right? Within 1 minute, you will see it, the latency of 1 minute, and you can see the live match or you can see the live scores updates, right? How it is happening? It is happening because of the stream processing, correct? And then use case real time. I just gave you example of IPL, right? Event by event processing for immediate action and instant analytics, right? Okay, let's not spend much time because already we are, now we saw this. Now let's look at the medallion architecture, right? So now we saw about batch and stream processing, but there are a lot of architectures. One of the best architectures used in the cloud is medallion architecture, right? Which has bronze layer, which has silver layer, and which has gold layer. Let's go back to Akshata's example. Let's say her data gets stored here, right? Let's say this is Amazon, right? The data is getting stored. It's coming from here and it's getting stored as a raw data, correct? Raw data, it's also called as what? Raw data is also called as, for example, we have bronze layer here, we have silver layer here, and we have a gold layer here. All right. So, for example, bronze is also called as raw, right? Silver is also called as confirm, and gold is also called as publish. What happens here? Akshata's data came in as is raw data. Probably it got stored in a JSON or a text or whatever web file, whatever it is, right? It's not processed, right? What we are saying, raw data stored as is, it is coming from sources like APIs, right? You are fetching it from the API, or probably the data is getting stored in a database and are fetching it from there, right? We are storing the data as is. It means that we are not applying any transformations. We are not applying any slicing and dicing of data over here. Correct? So from raw, let's say the data gets stored here. Next is your silver layer, right? Silver, or also we call it as confirm layer. Here we clean the data. We clean the data, we validate the data, we give a structure to the data. Probably we add it in the form of rows and columns. We probably save it in the CSV file, correct? We give a structure to the data so that we can query it further, right? So in the silver layer, we are doing cleansing, validating, structuring the data, removing the duplicates, schema standardization, consistency, so that if we query the data, we get a quick response on top of it, correct? So this is a silver layer. And then in the gold layer, it's your final data, right? Let's say here a big data developer or a data engineering is fetching the data from here and putting it to raw. Nobody is doing it manually. Initially they do. Once everything is set, they automate it later on, right? Then let's say a data engineer is coming and he's picking the pipeline, right? He's creating a ADF pipeline to pick the data from bronze to silver layer and then from silver to gold, right? And from silver to gold, let's say they have business use cases, right? They have business rules or business use cases. Probably they'll get assigned those stories in the Jira board. They'll pick those stories and they'll start working on it, correct? They'll start working on it, and then according to business rules, probably let's use SQL here so that you get a better understanding. So they'll say select column. Let's say we have 1,000 columns here, correct? But for analysis, they just need 100 columns, right? So they'll do select column 1, column 2, column 50, column 100, column 150, column 790, whatever it is, right? They'll select the 1,000 columns and they'll apply filters, conditions, the processing of data. And let's say later they will store it in the Parquet file format because of the better performance optimization and storage performance, etc. Right? So this is our final layer, that is our gold layer. Correct? So what we are doing here, final, whatever what data we are having here, final business keys. Correct? We are having final business ready data sets optimized for dashboards. What does that mean? Whatever data is there here, probably business analysts or the stakeholders, data scientist or whoever it is, they will pull it in the Power BI, right? Or Tableau, correct? What they do, they create the dashboards or reports, right? Further, they can use this data for example, if we go back to Akshata's example, right? Further, let's say it will go back for recommendation, or let's say, uh, okay, 2 months back, let's say my car's insurance, my Safari's insurance got expired, right? Before expiration, a month back itself, I started getting calls from all the agencies, companies, right? Nobody is sitting behind a database or in front of the computer looking for this thing that, okay, Akash's, insurance is going to end. So let's call and start irritating me. It doesn't work like that, right? They have an entire pipeline built. They have entire data engineers, big data developers, right? Where they fetch the reports, they'll fetch the data on certain schedules, right? And they send it to the upstream or downstream. And then these companies, what they do, these companies or teams, what they do, they start calling the XYZ person saying that your insurance is getting expired. So how does it work? For example, let's say you're taken a let's say you're taking a digit insurance. Okay. So now digit insurance knows when your insurance is going to expire, right? So before 30 days, they start calling you, correct? Why? So that they can retain you, right? They can retain you. If they don't know when your insurance is getting expired, just one example I'm giving, right? So they cannot call you. Probably some other person, random person, where nowadays data leaks easily happen, right? Some random person from, let's say, from Reliance or any other Echo, they'll call you, right? They will give you better offers and they will pull to their own company, correct? But here, what Digit Insurance will do, they will get in touch with you, they will give you better offers, and somehow they'll try to retain you, right? So imagine now I'm just talking about one customer, Akash Putti, right? But there are hundreds and lakhs of customers, right? If they lose 1 lakh customer this year, then they are into big loss, correct? So that is how they take the data for decision making. Um, Also, I see a lot of podcasts, right? In that, I was seeing a podcast of Deependra Goyal, who is CEO of Zomato, correct? So he gave an example that they take the decision, they use the data even to that context where they are targeting at a customer level. What do I mean by that? For example, let's say they notice that a certain customer, right? Probably now we Indians have the habit of comparing, right? Swiggy, Zomato, etc. Right? So what they do is they have the habit of comparing. They'll see that okay, today probably they have less charge, or let's say it's raining and they have extra charge of 30 rupees, whatever charges, right? They even identify customers at that level or that granularity, and they think, okay, probably if we wait for a second, then this customer, we might lose this customer, right? He might go to other platform. So they give the recommendations at that level that, okay, the this thing, what is that? The extra charge or the delivery charge or the distance charge has been reduced only for you, right? Also, you might see that you might get recommendations, notifications on your mobile phone saying that we have 40% of discount only for you. How does that happen? It all happens because of two reasons: big data plus data engineering, right? So, no matter whichever companies you go, either it's a telecom or a banking or any startup or anywhere, right? Even Accenture or any other companies, any company you name it, at the end of the day, they need big data developers and data engineers. Whether they need data scientists or no, that is secondary. But data engineers are required everywhere, right? Because nowadays data, because of Chat GPT, etc., data scientists are losing their worth what they had 5 years back. But data engineers, let's take an AI of Chat GPT, or let's say I think DeepSeek or whatever. Lot of we have Cloud AI, right? All these, if they want right data, right? If they want right data, what does that mean? The If they want right recommendations, for example, what does it mean? The data should be right, correct? The data should be right. If the data is wrong, let's say chat GPT is fed with the wrong data, then whatever discussions you are doing with it, you will get the wrong data itself, right? And who fixes this? It's either a data engineer or a big data developer who sit, who transform, who cleanse the data, right? I'm just giving one best example, but there are a lot of such examples. Without data engineers, we are not going to get clean data. Without clean data, we are not going to, get the clean recommendations or clean outputs, without which the whole system, right, it will be imbalanced. Getting a lot of messages and disturbance. Let me close all the apps. Okay. All right. So now let's go back to the. Okay. I think, yeah. So understanding the role of a data engineer, who is a data engineer, we saw it in the form of a medallion architecture. We saw his responsibilities. We saw the key differences of in which place data engineer used or data scientists are used or data analysts are used or big data developers are used, right? And also we have some technologies like big data. You can go through the frameworks, Apache Hadoop, Apache Spark, data storages like SQL, NoSQL databases, data lakes, cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP, right? ETL and ELT tools. ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load, right? We use tools for those. We have Apache NiFi, Airflow, Azure ADF, Informatica, lot and streaming tools like Kafka, Flink. So big data and data engineering is a ocean, right? It's a ocean. When I say it, I mean it. What does that mean? There are lots and lots of tools, lots and lots of technologies, lots and lots of softwares, right? That is the reason why big data developers and data engineers are very highly charged, right? Highly charged as in highly paid. In India, I'll tell you, I have my very own colleagues and friends who have the package from even 50 to 80 LPA, right? Even if I switch, just do one switch, even I'll reach probably I'll cross this salary, but due to some other reasons, I'm not doing this as of now, right? And what is the job trends in the market? See, it's all game of demand and supply, right? It's all game of demand and supply. So if the demand is high, supply is less, definitely you'll get a job, no matter if you're a fresher or an experienced candidate. If demand is less, supply is very high, you're not going to get a job until unless companies like TCS or other companies are coming and doing mass hiring, which is also stopped. Because recently I had visited Tumkur's SSIT, right? I have visited Jain Engineering College, I visited KLE, right? I visited a lot of colleges for 3 to 4 hours tech talk. What I noticed is nowadays companies have stopped mass hiring, right? Of course, there is a lot of layoffs also going on. Why? Because the older roles which we had like basic testing or manual testing, many of these things are getting automated, right? AI agents, a lot of things are getting, because of these things, all those are getting replaced, right? So if you are a fresher, if you want to get a better job, better internship, it's very much important that you get trained yourself, get certified yourself. And if you want to get a better job, you should get an internship into it, probably 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever best you can. And you can end up with a better job, right? I don't know if you guys are aware, in CloudFrame Skills Android app, we have one-to-one connects, right? We have one-to-one paid connects and career guidance, career counseling sessions, etc. A lot of people come saying that I've done a Java course or a testing course, whatever it is, and they say that I'm not getting a job. How will you get a job, right? It's all game of demand and supply. Wherever there is high demand and very less supply, if you go with this, you will get a job. Of course, I wanted to talk more on this topic, but then I think due to time constraints, I'm just wrapping this up, right? So if you do the training or internship probably in big data and data engineering, right? Not just big data, along with the data engineering, right? Big data, we use data engineering to handle big data, right? Just if you guys are confused about these two jargons, you're not only making yourself job ready, but also you're making yourself future proof, right? Future proof, at least for the next 10 years. I'm not saying this is as per the accumulated data of top 10 companies, right? So you are not only making yourself job ready, but also you are making yourself future proof, no matter it's a fresher or if it's an experienced candidate. Why I'm saying this? let's say you're an experienced candidate. I think you guys might know how service-based or even product-based companies work, right? You have a bench of 3 months, and what they do, let's say your project is ended, you will go to bench, whatever suitable skill set or tools they want, they will look. If you are having, you'll get hired, or 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, they'll wait and they will fire you. Correct? Why? Because companies will only keep you if you are having the right talent and right skill and right tool what they are looking for. Right? It doesn't work out other way around. I have this, I have that skill, please take me. No. But how it works, it all works on how the requirement is, right? And if you are having the right requirement, then you can easily end up with any job. You can switch any number of times and you can get whatever salary you want, right? Even in India, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 LPA, up to 80 LPA also, depending on you are from 0 to 15 years of experience. Okay, and top industries we have fintech, healthcare, e-commerce, cloud, right? For example, I said we already have our students, right, who are already working in Mercedes-Benz, who are working in top product-based companies, but still they have come here, right, to learn. And I think if you guys know about my wife, Aishwarya, right, she works in Volkswagen. Volkswagen is also a top company, right? It doesn't matter what college you have come from. It doesn't matter you have come from IIT or right. Why I'm saying this is even last year's IIT's base. I mean, the least salary was 4 lakh, which is embarrassing, right? We are talking about IIT here. But if you had that skill, if you had done the project in probably big data or data engineering, if you had done the internship, probably the base salary could have ended up in 10 lakh, 15, whatever it is, right? So why I'm giving this example is if you are having the right skill at the right time, you can aim for a dream company, right? So why I took the examples of VW. VW is a top company, right? Lamborghini, Bugatti, Porsche, Scania. It has 8 to 10 luxury brands under it, correct? Even Skoda, all those. So getting a job in VW is not everybody's cup of tea until unless you have that skill. If you have that right skill, then you can easily get it, right? So I think Aishwarya joined VW 2 years back, and last I think 3 or 4 months back, she got promoted as senior data engineer level 2, correct? So you understand, no matter where you want to go. So for example, why I'm saying this is I had got an opportunity to work with Deutsche Bank as associate vice president, AVP, correct? With a very handsome salary. But of course, it's my personal choice that I didn't join. I had got opportunity in Mercedes-Benz Bangalore, right? I didn't join. That is a personal choice. But then how can I get it? How my wife or how our students who are here, right? We are almost trained 100 plus students. How they are getting? It's all because of the right skill at the right time from the right organization and from the right mentor, correct? Just learning random things is not important. From where you learn, from whom you learn is equally important, right? And then essential key skills, I think we already saw this. Let's move on to the, okay, once you complete probably the internship or the training, it all depends what you're coming for, right? You can apply for junior data engineer, senior data engineer, big data developer, data platform engineer. Again, it all depends from company to company, right? The designations are not consistent across. They change from company to company, organization to organization. Also, you can apply for machine learning data engineer. This is the future. Slowly, we are moving towards Gen AI, right? For example, now, see, I am working mostly in Databricks. The current project which I have been working from last 6 months, I'm working in Databricks plus AWS project, right? But then slowly Databricks is also moving towards Gen AI, right? Or generative AI. So similarly, all these technologies with respect to big data and data engineering will move towards machine learning, AI, etc. Now, if you are very good with the foundation core, all of it, then even you can easily move here. Correct? Okay. And then the data engineering curriculum, this is if you get onboarded for our data engineering, 4 months data engineering coaching. Okay. This is not for internship. Internship, something it is different. You can talk to our team, they'll guide you. But this is for if you onboard to the training, right? We start with big data blueprint, where we cover foundation concepts, architecture, everything. Then Hadoop lab, hands-on distributed computing framework like Hadoop architecture 1, 2, and I can talk more on this, but I just left with 20 minutes, so I need to wrap up. And then Hive data warehousing, right? How to query, how to create tables, lot of things. SQL essentials. Python essentials. This is for interview perspective, well and good. If you're already coming from SQL or Python background, you can use it as a refresher course. But at least what minimum, bare minimum is required for you to answer in the interview and to get started. We have covered it. These both are like the bonus topics. Okay, this and this. And then we have file formats. As a data engineer, at the end of the day, we are dealing with files, right? Parquet, Avro, ORC, JSON, and Delta file. There are a lot of others. We will study all of them. I think we have 8 to 10 hours of content here, right? In depth. And then we'll study about Databricks. We'll study about RDDs, data frames, how to create the lot. I cannot just explain here. I think here itself we have around 30 plus topics, 30 plus chapters, not topics. And Databricks, we have around 10 chapters. And Azure, we have around 10 to 12 chapters. Here we'll be studying about whatever is related to the data engineering. For example, ADF or IAM roles or ARM or all related to these things, right? And then I think USP of the delivery, we give notes for each chapters. It will be easy for you to understand, learn, and categorize. Then chapter wise interview questions. You need not wait for the ninth hour. You can just start preparing for day one itself. Mind maps. See, there are these. I have just we have mentioned modules here, right? If you go to Bangalore, each of it is one different training, right? But we have clubbed everything into one so that your foundation, your core becomes strong, and also we are not charging 5 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 2 lakh or 1 lakh. If you see the price, definitely are going to be shocked. Okay. And then we have real-time projects. Most of the scenarios what we have covered are all real-time. We have resume building, right? We'll give template depending on your experience. You'll have to create a resume. We'll have to add the projects. We'll guide you on that. Then we'll have one-to-one sessions. We'll have two one-to-one sessions per student. One is for resume building and one is for mock interview. Okay. Rest all will be common uh, common live classes. Okay. And then we have mock interviews and overall mentorship program. So also we'll be giving questions around 150 to 200 questions where 90% of the questions will be asked from here in the interview, right? So it's not just a course, it's all about entire training and A to Z mentorship, right? With respect to big data and data engineering. And then salary, you can expect if you're 0 to 3 years experience, you can expect 6 to 12 LPA. 4 to 7, you can expect 15 to 25 LPA. And 8 to 15 years, you can expect 30 to 50 and even more. And I come under this category both in terms of my experience and salary. USA, you can see. Europe and UK, you can see why I have mentioned. If you are having right skill at the right time, you need not do MS. You can easily get onshore opportunities for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on, right? For example, I had got permanent movement to Canada for Morgan Stanley, but I didn't go because of my personal choice. Now my wife works in that was for Canada. It's not here mentioned here, anyways. My wife works for Volkswagen, right? And for the project she works, their headquarters is in Wolfsburg, where the actual car manufacturing happens, right? So every year, 3 to 6 months, she get on site. So when she goes there, she gets salary of India plus Germany, right? She has not done MS. And Middle East also we have just mentioned. So you can see the amount of opportunities you are getting. And then this is a generic roadmap. You'll get it anywhere. Like you need to learn SQL, you need to learn Python Scala, you need to learn cloud services, you need to learn this, and apply for jobs. But the roadmap, what we have created at CloudFrame Technologies, this is the actual roadmap, what we have created, right? This slide plus this slide. Okay. So it's a proven roadmap. We have placed freshers, we have placed experienced candidates, and many other people. And then top certifications. Any guesses on how many certifications I have from all of this? Any guesses in the chat? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any guesses? Vishwanath says four. Perfect. Yes, I have four. Only one guess, but very right guess. Okay. I could have done all of them, but it was not required for me. Again, it's a big question. Should I go for certification or not? It all depends on projects. It all depends on companies. It all depends on you, right? If you're having the skill but not the certification, you have high chances of getting a job. If you are having a certification by studying the dumps and not having the skills, then you have very less opportunities of getting a job, right? It's a very big story because I have worked with a lot of directors in Capgemini in onboarding the projects. I worked with Accenture, I worked with HCL Technologies, right? Both hiring students, not sorry, it's not student, hiring employees plus also onboarding the projects, right? So I know both the sides of the coin, and also I've switched 3 to 4 companies. I have worked in multiple projects, right? So I know how it works out. Of course, certifications are required, but not all the time. Okay, skill is important. Certification is secondary. Why, how, and all. Probably in some other time I can just explain that. Yes, I have this Google Cloud Professional Data Engineer certification. I have eight. No, I don't have this because it was not required for me. Now that I've been working in the AWS project for last 5 months. So I have opted for this. Probably by January 30, I'm going to give this certification exam. Right? I have this professional one, that is DP 203. This is the associate one. That is the basic version. And here also I have the professional one. Here we have mentioned the basic one. And then this I had done in 2019. This was one time, right? But all of these are, they get expired in 2 years, right? Every 2 years you need to give the re-exam and you need to freshen your this thing. Okay. I think we are at the end of the slides. Any questions, anything, you can get it here. Else you can connect with our team. They're very friendly. They'll help you. So these are some of the recent state student placements, right? You can see, and also these are some of the guys who have got 7 to 8 offers, right? So this is Rahul. He has almost cracked 45 to 50 LPA, 50 LPA including the bonus, right? This is me. I had met our one of the students from LNT. She is working in Cinecron now. Even she had got a lot of offers. She had got 150% hike. This is one of our students from our batches, right? She has also got almost 60% hike, and she has joined ABB, which is a top product-based company of USA. And these are some of the interns who have, done after doing the internship, they got job, right? And I think recently some of the other students have also got placed. She got in TCS, she got I don't know, in some startup, etc. Right? So that was it with this. If you have any questions, any doubts, please do let me know. Else, let's walk. I have 5 to 10 more minutes. I'll show you the website. I'll show you the discount we are providing. Uh, yeah. Now you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. Overall session. Yes, any doubts, any questions? Quickly, guys, after this, I have a live class of our older batch students.
Hello,
Yes, who is this?
this is Khushi. Sir, I wanted to ask, you told about the professional certificates, right? So,
Mhm.
if you enroll in your course, are these certificates included in that?
The certification is something specific, okay? Specific, for example, GCP, it has a specific certifications, right? But
Yeah.
if you complete our training, I just forgot to mention that point, you will be covered for most of the certifications, 50% of it, because your foundation, your core will be very strong, right? Then 50% I'll give just one example. For example, the meaning of delta table, whether you are creating it on GCP or AWS or Azure, it remains the same, correct? Or meaning of a Parquet file, whether you are using it on the on premises, that is your Hadoop or big data or wherever it is, or you are creating it in the cloud, right? Meaning remains the same, right? So it means your foundation becomes very good. Directly or indirectly, you are covering 50% of it for all the certifications. And also it will be very easy because your core and your foundation is good. You can easily adapt. You can easily understand what they are trying to teach or what they are trying to do in that particular certification. Okay, so we are launching certification only courses going forward, but this is something which is required to build your foundation, right? To make your foundation strong. Any other questions? I hope you got the answer.
Yes, sir. Sir, I also wanted to ask, like, about the placement assistance. Do you provide placement assistance?
Yes, we do provide 100% placement assistance, but we do not provide any fake 100% guarantees, which the organizations or institutes in Bangalore do that. Why I'm saying this is we have students who have gone to Bangalore, they have done and they have come back to us and they told us all the story. Yes, we do have 100% placement assistance. We have tie-ups with some recruiters, right? There are a lot of other things. You can understand it by talking to our team in detail. I see there was one more guy who was trying to ask a question.
Yes, Akash. So my question is, I am an experienced, so I'm working as a QA in IQVIA, right? So, like, how will be the
Sorry,
placement
I
assistant?
didn't understand what you said. It was not quite audible.
Yeah. So I'm working as a QA in IQVIA right now.
IQA. Okay, okay. We have,
IQVIA, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we have students from there.
Yeah. Okay. So, how will be the placement assistance for experienced people? Suppose, like, if if I say I'm 9 years
I'll just show
experience.
you one
Okay.
example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Uh, where is that? Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
This guy is from your company.
Oh, shit.
He's from IQA only. Now he has joined Lululemon as a senior data engineer level 2. I hope it answers.
Yeah. And one more thing. For the professional network, right? For the LinkedIn's and all, will there be help from your end?
As I said, we try our best. We are in touch with HRs. We are in touch with recruiters, right? So wherever they have requirement, they send to our channel. Channel as in we have some internal networks, and if your profile is matching, then we'll send it to them. Even if it is matching 50%, we'll send it to them. Depending on their requirement, they'll shortlist. So what does that mean? For example, let's say you are working in, I'm just giving a random example, right? Let's say you are working in Java or Python, right? And you come here and let's say you are having 9 to 10 years experience. So you come here and you learn everything. Now, because your base was started with Java or Python, so what we do here is we do individual level, resume building. How does that work? For example, at your level, let's say you have 9 years of experience. So 5 years will showcase it as a Java developer, or 4 years we showcase it as a Java developer, and remaining 5 years will show a slow transition to how you ended up here, right? So that is how we can show 4 years of experience into Java and 5 years of experience into data engineer. Did that help?
Yes. Yes.
So one last thing, we work on individual level profiles, right? Even the resume template is same for 70% of the people. 30% of your profiles differ. For example, you're in IKEA working in a project, right? So your project will be the same. Your roles and responsibilities will get changed on whatever you have learned in CloudFront. That is the only difference, right? We are not going to give a complete new project to you. Your project, your account, everything will be the same. Only your roles and responsibility will change as per the data engineer or a big data developer. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Akash, how this training occurs, like if I'm working professional,
Okay,
and how
very
can
good
I
question. So
follow?
what we have is we have two things here. Okay. So it's self-paced plus live classes. So how does that work? Right? You have self-paced classes which you can go through. You can go through each chapter for 10 times up to 1 year. Okay. And live classes happen in the weekend. So you will have 5 to 6 hours of live classes every month. Okay. And you can attend those 5 to 6 hours of live classes every month up to 1 year. Okay. So it's not specific. For example, let's say you attended one particular session, right? In live classes, mostly we do revision sessions, we do brainstorming sessions, right? We do interview prep sessions. right? Let's say we are doing revision sessions. For example, now we started the fresh revision session and now we completed the module 1, right? Today we have the revision of module 2, correct? So you can attend that. All those live sessions you can attend on weekend basis, right? And on daily basis, you can go through. If you get any doubts, you will have a POC assigned to you. You can connect with them and you can resolve your doubt.
Thank you.
All right. So I think if we don't have further questions, because we are left only with the 5 minutes, I'll just let me share my entire screen. Okay. So this is our company website. I think company as in CloudFrame Technologies. CloudFrame Skills is part of it. Okay. So what we do, with whom we are now, recently we have partnered with Azure, Microsoft Azure as well. So what all we are doing. So it's little bit of information in this. You can just go through, right? VTU, I think freshers, you can see this on the, see, this is a VTU portal. You can apply. We are also official partners with VTU. You can apply there. Okay. And for the training, whoever come today, so this is our study.cloudframeskills.com. You can, okay, I think this website is low. Okay, not low. So this is the website. You can just go through this. It's everything it has on what we spoke currently, right? You can check that and you can just log in here. If you click on the login, it will take you to portal.cloudframeskills.com. You can add your phone number. You'll get an OTP. You can log in. Okay. For Android users, you can access it through mobile as well. But for iPhone, still we are not built the app. It's in progress. But even iPhone users can use the web portal. Not a big deal. Okay. Yeah. So this is just the application fees. If you are not coming through VTU, then if you are coming through VTU, you should apply through VTU portal, else it will not be considered from VTU. But if you have already completed your graduation or if you are already working and want to do some internship, you can apply for internship. This is just the application fees, right? Everything, the process is the same. Resume gets shortlisted and all that. Okay, let's not focus on that now. So the fees, coming to the fees, it's neither 1 lakh nor 50,000. It is 39,346 for 4 months. But this is including the money back guarantee. If you don't want the money back guarantee, so this is the 15 days money back guarantee. You can talk to our team regarding this. Because of time constraint, I cannot explain much here, right? If you don't want, you can just remove this. You can say, no, I don't want the money back guarantee, right? So your price comes down to 33,499. It was nice talking to you all. If you have any further doubts, please do let me know. Else, I think we can basically wrap up this session. Okay. If you get onboarded, happy to see you on the other side and wishing you all the best. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Bye.